Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Loan Officer Breakfast Club. We're happy to have you here this morning. It's going to be a great, epic day. This January 20th, 2026. We'll get started right about now. Don't forget, we are brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. Mortgage Marketing Animals. Pretty cool. Pretty cool group. Yeah, I would say. Nice people. Provide good value. Hang out with us daily. Kind of fun. So anyway, brought to you by the Mortgage Marketing Animals. Glad to have you here. Hey, we got a special guest in the house today. She has not shown up yet, but she may have. I don't know. We'll find out. But hey, for those of you that were here yesterday, just want to make sure that you guys got the text messages. Did you guys get them? Because I know we kind of went off script a little bit there yesterday. For those of you that put in the magic word into the chat, did you get the three text messages? Did you? Yes. Okay. No, Sue Moody didn't. All right. Well, we blocked Sue Moody, right? Didn't we? No, I'm kidding. No. Okay.
Don't be mean. No, you're not going to be mean.
Check your spam.
No. Quit picking on Sue.
Check your spam.
My sister and snow this week.
That's so true.
So check your spam. If you didn't see it, we sent it. So, check your spam. Chris Johnstone's here. What's going on, Chris? How are you? Man, when you I texted Chris early, say, hey, can I chat real quick? And then he texted me back later. He goes, I'm hopping on a plane in an hour. Give me a call. And of course, I didn't get that for an hour. I didn't see it for another hour. So I missed you, Chris. Sorry about that, man.
Man, it's all good. I'll talk to you today.
Yeah, we'll give you a buzz later today. So that's good. Where were you flying from and to? What was going on?
So I was flying from Costa Rica to Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Wait, is this the helicopter week? Are you doing it this week, Chris?
No, this week is a gauntlet. I've actually got 2 keynotes this week that I'm doing for a couple of different organizations. And so talking about artificial intelligence and our plan for this year. So should be a lot of fun. Although being socially awkward, getting up on stage, not always my thing to look for.
You know, it's funny. He says that, but when you see Chris on stage, he's a pro, man. Like just silky smooth. He's great.
Good. I mean, you can't help but love him with his nerd clap.
Yeah, right. Yeah, true. Well, best to you, man. So when is that going down? Is that today or?
So I've got one today, one tomorrow.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, you're going to talk about AI. You might want to brush up on that a little bit before you get up there.
Did you know that January 1st, I actually got a notification from ChatGPT on my phone that I was in the top 1% of users of ChatGPT last year?
Shut your flippin' AI face. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I don't know if that's awesome or just terribly scary and sad. Yeah, it's like, but
it's
no, that's
awesome
killer
for all of us.
It really is.
Take everything that Chris tells us to do and do it.
Dude, you've got to have that like on your, branding, top 1% honored by ChatGPT as a top 1% user. I mean, come on.
Yeah, got to get into image mode, get my nerd badge made, and
yeah, that is pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right. All right,
we do the top 1% of anything, to be honest.
I know. Whew. Pretty awesome. Yeah. Hey, before we get rocking and rolling, Robyn is here. Hello, Robyn. How are you, dear? Good to see you.
Good morning, team. Good morning.
Good morning. Can't wait to chat with you here. But before we chat with you, Robyn, if it's okay, just want to remind everybody what Kevin Gillespie has going on Thursday, I believe, right, Kevin? So, Kevin, can you give us another quick snippet of what to expect?
Absolutely. Thank you, Frank. And so we're doing 2 events on Thursday. One is a live event with Carl and I. It's a free 1 hour in our Millionaire Manager series. And it's not theory. We're literally going to walk you through exactly what the top leaders are doing to grow their volume, increase their revenue, and make a high 6 to 7 digit income. And I've got a couple people in the group that make $400,000 a month. That's not normal, but other incomes are great. But we're going to walk through the systems they use to move the needle. How do they build a sales culture to get their people to produce? How do they use their CRM and social media like an attraction magnet? And that tends to get their loan officers an extra 3 to 4 loans a month. How to improve conversion rates 20 to 50%. how to structure your customer service and process flow so the loan officers feel, man, they care about my loans as much as I do, so they get out and produce, how they get top talent to seek them out. And so literally it's going to be dozens of ideas. It's absolutely free, no pressure. So guys, and we'll put the links in the chat, but join us for that. That's going to be Thursday at noon Eastern. Then immediately.
Kevin, who is that? Who's the best audience to attend that webinar with you and Carl?
Managers, branch managers, broker owners, regionals, company owners, anybody that's leading a team, really. So, and then right after that, we're starting a 5-week series. Some of you have heard about our call reluctance program, which usually sells for $9.97 for the 5 weeks. But this, we're putting 2 programs together. It's call reluctance, overcoming call reluctance. So you have no hesitation, no overthinking, no fear, no excuses, and you literally confidently pick up the phone. And you'll also learn what to say to naturally influence people to speak to what their internal needs are. Because if you can do that, they'll connect with you. And so you get 5 weeks along with 5 weeks of Call Stars. So each of those programs are usually $9.97, and then Call Stars is what? $200, $300, $400. So you get all that, and we've put it all together for $9.97. We've got several people that have really broken through. We're starting out on Thursday with Adam Crosley, who went from doing 2 loans. He's now averaging 15 to 20. Mike Bowers took the program and took 20 million in applications in 30 days. Marty Guy Fink, she's incredible. It's really helped her, I think she would tell you. But also it's 100% guaranteed. Take the whole course. You don't like it, just no questions asked, ask for a refund. I think out of all the people we've trained, I think we've given 1 or 2 refunds. I don't know, but it's, and we'll drop that link in, but sign up for that, guys. That's a no-brainer. So that's it. Thank you, Frank.
Awesome. You bet, Kevin. Thank you. And both links are in the chat right now, guys. They're both there. If you're in a situation where you're driving or something like that and you can't click the links, where can they go? Profit-driven plan to connect?
No, they should just give the office a call because it
just give
starts
the
on
office
Thursday.
a call.
So
Okay.
yeah, give the office a call and talk to Jen, and she'll get them hooked up with that.
Okay, good enough. Yeah, so if you're driving or something like that, you want to get on either one of those, just call the main office and talk to Jen. So there you go. Okay, well, I think at this point, I'm ready to bring up Miss Robyn LaVassaur.
A lot of enthusiasm for this time of day.
You're out of here with me,
Frank's West
sister.
Coast time.
That's right, sister. We are up and running. It's okay. I'm on cup number 5, I think. Cup number 5, my coffee. So that's what you got to do, man.
You're like
It's easy
my
peasy.
husband. Okay.
It's easy peasy. Yeah. Okay, so Robyn, if you weren't here last Tuesday, we had Robyn. And first of all, a little bit about Robyn, and Kristen, you can help me. But my understanding is, Robyn, basically you started as a temp receptionist for a mortgage company. It went from there to building a huge branch, funding it nearly $1 billion in volume, and now running one of the most successful mortgage companies or branches in the nation. Am I right, Kristen? Did I get my talking points right?
I mean, yeah,
Robyn, am I pretty close on that?
It's pretty darn close. It's probably over exaggerating. No, I'm just kidding. I've had a fun run since you hang out somewhere since 1997. Things tend to happen. So
Indeed. And so last week, what we did is we said, okay, let's figure out a 90-day challenge. If you were going to take a brand new loan officer or a loan officer who's kind of starting from scratch or feels like they need to reset, drop them into some market, what would be the thing to do in a 90-day plan? What would be the 90-day plan, things to do every day to make sure that you get the most out of your efforts, right? To make sure that you be as successful as possible. Last week, what you brought up, which was really cool, and we even had somebody share, I don't know if you were with us, Robyn, but somebody shared subsequent to that meeting saying that they I think it was the next day, I can't remember who it was, said, yeah,
It was
I
the
made
next day.
literally 4 calls and got 2 apps or something crazy, right? Like 6 calls or something. But so you talked about just calling everybody in your phone and just as a reminder, letting them know who, what you do, right? And if they need any help, you're there to help them out. So it was just very simple. The list was in the phone, very easy thing to do. People acted on it and got business right away. If you're getting value from this already, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more loan officers find content that actually makes a difference. And hey, if staying ahead of the market and learning what's really working in our industry matters to you, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss another episode. We read every comment, so drop your thoughts down below. We'd love to hear from you and know what's working or what you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you here next time. So where are we going from here today? Kristen, tee us up. Help tee up this moment here with Robyn. What's next?
All right. So I guess let's do Robyn. Would be great. And first of all, I just absolutely loved your game plan last Tuesday when you shared it. It was such a simple thing that I think is so easy to overlook. And I've talked to several people this week that were like, yeah, I just started doing that. And it's producing results. So I don't think, to your point, Frank, you don't have to be brand new. It's great for brand new because you don't have a past client database, so that you've got that circle of influence and now you know how to lean into it. But also just for everybody, you don't have to be brand new to implement that. So today I think we want to talk about maybe just a lightning round of quick hitters. What does a winning day actually look like right now? How to bring home the bacon, and what should we cut from our calendar?
Good stuff.
Yeah, right.
No pressure, Robyn.
No pressure, Robyn. Just
no pressure.
Lay it all out. But no, here's a good one to start with.
Wait a minute. Carl texted me and said, "What's step 2 for a 90-day loan officer?"
Yeah, absolutely. But so what's converting better for you right now? Is it texting or calling?
So I think, it's interesting. I was just talking to a loan officer last night, and he did the old referred 3 deals to a top producer, huge monster, probably number 1 or 2 in their market. And she closed all 3 of them. And he said, like a beast. I mean, just all 3 of them got done. All 3 of them were thrilled. And he said, here's the problem. I still didn't get a meeting, and I still don't have our business. And I said, huh. And I said, well, obviously the obvious is, have you called her? And he goes, she doesn't pick up the phone. Even her voicemail says, please text me. And I said, well, have you texted her? And he said, no, except for the leads. And I said, well, you got to start by, right? Like, it's seeing what your client, if you will, wants, what your customer wants. And then as relationship gets established, making the change. So I still think our biggest circle of influence is from belly to belly. Always, right? It's very like that's our most influential time, is if we're sitting right in front of somebody. Phone is secondary to that. Texting, I would say, goes third to that. Then you go into like email, actually I would put video in there, and then go into email and those things. And so your level of influence, obviously, you kind of have to understand the scale. And some of us are starting way at the back of the scale of what's most influential. Some of us are trying to only do the very beginning. And I would say it's probably a combination, Kristen, when you really look at it based on, but when you only are texting, I hear it all the time. These clients were shopping me, or this agent text me that they couldn't make it, or whatever the case. It's so much easier to reject when you're not live on the phone or belly to belly, and that doesn't mean that they're rejecting necessarily you. It's just an easier space to have distance from vulnerability, if you will, right? And so it's easier to say, hey, can't make it today. Hey, sorry, couldn't take your call. And when we let people off the hook in that space, we allow that distance, right? And so I would say the goal would be to get to phone and then belly to belly. But if you've got to start with text and that's how they respond, something is better than nothing to forge relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
Indeed.
I feel that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do. Because, and I see it on social media all the time, particularly with like kids. Like, it doesn't have to be kids, it has to be anybody, but people will make the most random comments on social media because they're not taught, but they would never say that to somebody's face, right?
Correct.
So it's just totally
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
bet.
you mentioned video too, and we touched on that briefly yesterday. We were talking about text messaging and different
Mhm.
scenarios, but the video text is something that I think we need to do a little bit more. If we're not, there's probably some here who are doing it quite a bit, but that when you really want to get through to somebody and have that meeting or whatever, and they're not being that responsive, a video text could be quite powerful
Cool. Well, let's
in
ask
that
Robyn that
scenario.
question that we were kicking around yesterday.
Yeah,
Robyn, all right. So if you've got a realtor who's ghosting you,
Yeah.
what's the best way to approach that or the best question to ask? This is what
yeah.
we were
What's your
talking about
thoughts?
yesterday.
Yeah, if I have an agent who's truly ghosting me, then I mean, and this is agents or clients or kind of anybody, I tend to add humor in, and it works. So I'll send them a meme or a GIF of crickets, um, or I'll send a picture of a ghost. I'll try to frequent, I'll make fun of myself, stage five clinger here, like it's just not going to go away until we talk. Like, I think when you can break through people's um if I just ignore somebody, they'll go away. And the truth is, it's like grounding your kids. It's more punishment for the parent than it is for the kids on the general rule of thumb. It's no different, right, than when we're chasing after somebody and they're not responding and all the crazy narratives get in our head. And I would challenge us to just write narratives that, hey, they're really loyal to a lender right now. Chase them even harder, right? Hey, they're
Mm,
really incredibly busy. Hey, they might have something going on with their life that when they have time to respond and we connect, I'll get there. But we make a lot of those narratives about ourselves, right? They're rejecting me personally. They're ghosting me personally. They must be, they must have heard something. They must not like me. We write a lot of crazy things. Maybe really subconsciously, possibly I'm not good enough. All of that, I would challenge you guys to not put those things in your head and instead write things kind of like when somebody speeds by you and maybe cuts you off and you're mad on the freeway and you're like, oh, they must have something really important to do that people need to make room for them, right? Like it's just a choice in your brain. Um, so that's Kristen for me. I would say if a realtor's ghosting me, I tend to try to add humor more than anything, and then otherwise get into where and who possibly has connections to them is the other
mm,
space that I would go. And I generally will hard pursue for about 6 months before I'll give up. So if
really?
they're on
Okay.
my list, like I kind of have a chasing whales program, if you will, and I would chase six at once for 6 months straight. Um, and that lets me be laser focused. Not that we're not trying to get other
Mm.
agents as well, but if you're really targeting and saying this is one that I for sure want to work with, then I would say it's about a 6 month pursuit to get into a great relationship.
It reminds me of a friend of mine, Jeremy Forcier, who I know a lot of us know. He's
Yeah.
kind of in the circuit out there, right?
Yes.
We know Jeremy Forcier, and he's a friend of mine. Lives pretty close to me. He's in Sonoma, just over the hill. And my friend, my ex partner, Brian Stevens, and I were chatting him up one day, and he was telling us that there was one particular agent who ran a big team in his area that he was just determined to get. And he pursued that guy for 2 years. He said it was once a week. It was a voicemail. He would never answer Jeremy's call. Never. Right. But once a week, he still would just leave a voicemail checking in, seeing if you need any help or anything. He said he did it for 2 years. He says one day he got a call back. He said, the guy said, yeah, well, I was, loyal to my guy, but he's out of the business now. And so nah, you're up, and then he got that guy's business. Not saying that we chase everybody for 2 years, but I mean, there is certainly benefit to the long haul if you feel that the relationship is really, really worth it. Hey, Robyn, so last week you mentioned that the first thing you would do would be to just call the people in your phone. What would you say what is the second thing? Do you
Yeah.
got a second thing that you would do?
Yeah, I think that the second thing that I think about all the time is, and I wish I would have had this the first, 7 years of my origination, if you will, and that was track everything in terms of lead. And so, and I'll just say this for a minute because I know it sounds so cliche and people like track it all, but the truth is, I think that if I asked most people on the call what they had for dinner on Friday night, which was all of 3, 4 days ago, like we would struggle to remember unless it was something special, right? Like we probably would struggle about yesterday or the day before. And, when we think that we can hold on to every lead, comment, all of those things, I think that really gets us in a place where uh, we're bound to make a mistake basically. And so when I make these calls, when you're doing those things, I would say write everything down and then the definition of a lead. I think we really struggle with what the definition of a lead is sometimes, and we think to ourselves, a lead is a application. And it's simply not true, right? A lead is a reference of somebody that wants to do something near future, even far out future. I plan on buying a house in the next 2 years. You'll lose track of them if you didn't write it down somewhere. And if you're not, right, taking a peek at, I knew my kids all wanted to buy houses as they were getting out of our house, right? Like it's, if I wasn't a lender, somebody should have tracked that. Hey, different story, different day, but I have triplets and, hey, LaVassaur triplets are leaving the nest. Like there's 3 of them that are probably going to buy, something at some point. And I think so tracking lead and understanding a lead. I mean, all the way to the point where my mother-in-law would say to me, hey, my neighbors that just moved into the duplex, they want to buy a house eventually. If I didn't write down Nana's neighbors on the corner in the duplex, for sure they're likely going to make applications somewhere other than Robyn LaVassaur, unless it's divine, serendipitous and an intervention. And so tracking everything, and this really, it shifted me, Frank, ironically, from I was so fixated for a while on hitting the number 25 closings. I wanted 25 closings so badly. And it was just one of those elusive numbers that, and I'm not exaggerating this, you guys, for over a year and a half, I could hit 24, I could hit 23, I could hit 20. I would think I had 35 closings and still not make 25. I mean, literally couldn't hit the number to save my soul. And what I recognized was I was so incredibly focused on the number of closings. And I would challenge that most of the time, I could ask everybody in the industry at any time, how many leads do you have this month and what's your conversion? And most people can't rattle that off of their tongue. It's the 20th of the month. How many of you guys right now could actually state, I have this many leads, I have this conversion, and I'll explain that in just a second, and I have this many to go to reach my goal. I have this many to go. Kristen, one of the things you talked about was like, what are things that you just have to focus on? I think that was one of the questions in the little list of questions at the beginning. And that's really it was what a successful day looks like. To me, I shifted, and anybody would say to me at any time, how many closings are you closing? And I would, honest to goodness, you guys, say, I don't know. But if somebody said, how many leads do you have? I could always say the number and my conversion amount. I'd say, oh, I've got, 28 leads and I'm at 72% conversion. And so a brand new loan officer, and it's really a math equation and this is sales math. It's a classic teaching, but it's a math equation that says if you get a certain number of leads with a specific conversion and you do it 90 days in a row, your closings will essentially average or exceed this amount. And I'll give you this most simplistic math. If you're brand new in the business or you currently are not closing this number, your goal is, I tell every brand new loan officer, your goal is for 90 days to get 15 true warm leads, 15 true warm leads with an 80% credit pull for 90 days in a row. And you will start closing basically 2 to 3 loans consistently a month, which is a start, right? And then we can build off of that. When I wanted to get to, 25, I needed to close 100. I needed to get to 100 leads. I wanted the 25. I wasn't focused on 100 leads at 80% credit pull. The moment I shifted and every day said, how many leads do we have? Where's our credit pull? And that was all I focused on every single day. I literally went on a 3.5-year run of never missing 100 leads and never missing an 80% credit pull. And that created the 25. So I would say start at the beginning and the end will arrive the way it's supposed to. but you can't get, you can't get to the end without being very focused every single day on the activity that actually would get you there. And so how many, like that's my big, question always, Frank, for every LO is how many of you are truly, truly tracking every single lead and then paying attention to that conversion? And do you know your numbers on a monthly, a weekly, and a daily level? And are you measuring yourself with that? Are you measuring yourself? Because I could lose a day, I couldn't lose 2 days in a row because then you fall too far behind. Does that make sense? So I might have a day with no leads, but man, if you had 2 days in a row, or if you get to the 20th of the month and right now you're like, gosh, leads are quiet this month. It's such a non-activity based statement, right? It's such a, it doesn't get you to where you really need to be. And so that, I would tell you guys, track your lead and then first focus on the lead number. If that's the struggle, focus on the lead number first. You have to have the number of leads, then start working on conversion with that same number of leads. And once you can, it's magic when you can combine the two and do it consistently.
Hey, if you're liking Loan Officer Breakfast Club, you really need to check out Mortgage Marketing Animals. Don't forget, we have live events pretty regularly throughout the year. You can learn more by going to mastermindretreats.com. Mastermindretreats.com. Go there, check it out. Hope to see you at one.
Oh man, that is so huge. I think Steve Kyle says this all the time, but you can't manage what you don't measure. I was having a conversation, Robyn, probably 6 months ago with a seasoned vet in the industry, and we were talking about how many leads he needed to have, referrals he needed to have, referred leads, in order to get the closings that he was looking for. And when we got to that point, he said, wait a minute. I think he needed 80 every month in order to close the number of loans that he was looking to close. And he said, wait a minute. I got 83 referred leads last month. And it was like a light bulb moment, because it's easy to think maybe we need more referrals, right? We need to focus on that piece when maybe it's the conversion piece.
It's such a true statement, Kristen, and it becomes so palatable when you say, my job today is 2. I need 2. Right? Like that's such a palatable number than that, I need 100. And so every single day I would start my day. And for me at this point in my career, I had a team, obviously, but the first thing that one of the gals would do is text me my number for the day, what we needed, where we were at, and what our conversion was. And then I would literally review my calendar. And if I had a plethora of leads, but not enough conversion, and this is probably a separate, breakfast club, but plethora of leads, not enough conversion, I would instantly shift my white time, if you will, or unimportant things into conversion. If I didn't have enough leads, I would shift my calendar, and I looked and I had meetings and different things that maybe weren't going to be green time, move the dial. I would shift on a daily based on where I was, that one measurement. And that really changed everything.
Awesome. Just totally awesome. Someone was chatting. Diane said, yeah, but how are you getting your leads? Right. And so I would say, Diane, the way that we get our leads is by having conversations. That would be the number one way for us to get our leads. And we can have conversations with the people that are on our phone and our sphere of influence, right, on a daily basis. But also we have what we call the daily success plan at the Mortgage Marketing Animals, where we learn, and where we teach you, I should say, and we learn how to find the appropriate real estate agents and pursue them to get leads out of them. And if you look at any of the data that comes out of realtor.com year after year with pie graphs on, looking at where did most loan officers get their deals from, it's like 60% of the deals come from realtor partners is what it is. So not that you can't get leads from other places, you can, but realtor partners would be the biggest slice of the pie always. But there's plenty of opportunity for just people around you, people that you talk to, people in your telephone, your sphere of influence. But we have to have those conversations. And if you need more help with that, if anybody needs more help with that, if you're not sure on where to get the leads, to track them properly, just go to freedomplanningcall.com. Freedom Planning Call. We'll get that link into the chat. So if you need help with that, I know most of us here are very familiar with the daily success, but most of us here are probably already members with Mortgage Marketing Animals, right? But that would be where you go. But
there's a really good question, and I'm wondering, I know we only have like 1 minute left, but Robyn, I'm wondering if you have like a 1 minute answer to this question. If you're looking at your conversion and you're not at that 80%, what would be the first thing you would do to improve that? What would you look at first?
Yeah, really. So I like things to be broken down so bite-sized because it helps my simple little brain. So when I think about bite-sized, when you have a conversion problem, it is one of two things on the general rule of thumb. Well, I'll give you three basics. Quality of referral. So how somebody is referring you is one. Two would be follow-up. And the third one would be speed to lead or barrier entry. Speed to lead or barrier entry. That is your conversion. If you are enthusiastically grabbing a hold of that lead right away and kind of starting right to cook, that's a huge win. If you're like, oh, I got a lead and I called them back 24 hours later, too slow, Joe, right? Like there's a reason you're not converting. And I think I'm always a little surprised, but that does happen. It does, right? You have the best of intention, but you were on vacation and maybe you don't have any support system. Those things do happen. So at speed to lead, the quality, how you are being referred by people, who you are being referred by, absolutely matters in that. If somebody said to call 3 and you didn't pick up on the first one, they're dialing 2 more and that you might never get to shoot your shot. So that matters, the quality of how you were referred, and then follow up. I saw that in there by Jeff. That's probably the other biggest thing. And there's a whole bite-sized way to do follow-up as well.
You know what? That was one of our topics. I think it was last week, wasn't it? Conversion. And we were talking about speed to lead, Robyn, and we were also talking about getting the application going as fast as possible. Not necessarily having a quick talk and saying, I'll text you my link and fill it out when you get a chance, where we could lose a lot of people that way. Whereas if we had them on the phone, as we're talking to them, we're asking the questions, we're filling out the application anyway. It's pretty much already done. We'd say, hey, I'm just going to send you a link to just click the OK box because I've got this all done pretty much. And so, yeah, the great stuff, killer stuff. And
so much to unpack with Robyn. I'm glad she's going to be coming
back. I know. I want to address Diane too. She said, quality? What do you mean by quality? And that's a great question. So I'll give you a quick example. If you working with newer agents, a lot of times the leads that you're going to get are going to be online leads, Facebook leads like that they don't really have a relationship with. Those leads tend to be of a lesser quote unquote quality. In other words, there's no real relationship there, anything like that. So a quality lead is what we call a referred lead. Like this is where an agent who's a little more established may have referrals from past clients, referrals from family and friends that the agent has spoken to, kind of already sort of pre-screened a little bit and then is handed off to you. That's a higher quality lead because, it's a warm referred lead versus an online lead that was something that was paid for. Not that those can't convert, they can, right? But the quality with online leads tends to be less convertible than referred leads. So that's what we would say by that.
Look what Joe put in the chat. I was the link guy up until last week. The conversation builds relationship and trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to go, Joe.
Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Awesome stuff. Well, thank you, Robyn. So appreciate you, man. It's so cool that you shared. So can we have you back again next Tuesday by chance? Maybe there's some more.
Come back and see y'all. I will come back and see y'all. Yeah, I've been peeking in on the other days, just a little less presentable. So
fine.
Well, and Robyn's coming to the boot camp in March in Clearwater.
Oh, cool.
Right. Look forward to meeting her in person.
Yeah.
Right on. Awesome stuff. Well, really appreciate you, Robyn.
I have to go if Robyn's going.
Joanne,
there you go.
Come on, we need you there, and I need you to wear your mortgage Chuck Taylors too.
Oh, I'll be wearing mortgage broker sneakers. I'll be bringing them. Jen, can I call you?
Stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and get on out of here. Tomorrow, we're going to have Kevin Gillespie. Give us some pointers on call reluctance again, which he's already done once for us this year already, but then segueing that into reminding us that we've got that great class coming up on Thursday. So we're going to have Kevin Gillespie back. Call reluctance is the topic. We're going to kill it. We're going to beat it. It's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome. You guys have a great day. We will catch up with you here, Manana. Robyn, thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right, guys. Catch up with you tomorrow. Adios.
Have a great day, everybody.